And for our final spot, how do you do?
How do you do? My name's Cyril Fletcher, and I'm going to start off by telling you of a friend of mine who always has a bath every morning, the cleanly creature. And in his bath he always reads his newspaper. Well, one morning, unfortunately, his newspaper hadn't arrived, and there he was stomping up and down the bathroom in high dudgeon and without any clothing. He heard a knock on the door and he thought, well, that is my newspaper. So just as he was, as one has one's bath, so to speak, for summertime, luckily, he came down the stairs and began to pull the newspaper out of the letterbox. Well, unfortunately, he couldn't pull it out without tearing it. My outs don't bother you, do they? So he opened the door, put his arm round and began to pull out the newspaper that way. Well, unfortunately, he pulled a little too viciously and dropped the thing. Now, he wasn't going to be frustrated. So just as he was, as one has one's bath, so to speak, for summertime, luckily, he looked up the street, down the street, saw nobody was coming, took his courage in both hands, jumped over the step, seized the newspaper in triumph, and at that moment a small gust of wind came and blew the door to. And was his face red? Well, that's the end of that one. Launches off into the usual odd ode. My friend Theophilus Carnation would talk about his operation and gaze upon with much delight the scar of his appendicite. The surgeon had so neatly put a row of stitches sewn with gut that Theophilus, with heart awhirl, loved every stitch both plain and pearl. One day as he sat in his tub, he gave his favourite spot a rub. To his surprised delight he found the catgut made a Chrysler sound. And so next day he bought a bow and started playing sweet and low, and in a week could play the air of Deep Purple and the Maiden's Prayer. The BBC soon got to hear and called for Theo to appear and said that he and his incision must both appear in television. He learned the new swing music gait, he'd drop a stitch to syncopate, his dance band became the new sensation, Theophilus and his operation. Theophilus grew quite wealthy soon, each stitch in time would play its tune, although he grew a trifle gummy through rubbing rosin on his tummy. Rather a sticky ending. Goodbye.